Okay, let's just have a brief one about the tyre failures. I just want to cover
Okay.
a few of the bits of information here and what we do know so far, because Pirelli went one step softer and raised the pressures for the tyres for this weekend. They were one step softer than they were last race that we had here. Obviously, it goes without saying that it is not acceptable for tyres to fail in this manner when they are well within the margins that Pirelli have set up. We don't want this to end up like like the 2005 US Grand Prix, where Michelin, like, they couldn't guarantee that the tyres would be any good for more than 10 laps or something unless they changed the track, because it was at Indianapolis with the curve. And obviously all of the Michelin run teams pulled out. We had 6 cars basically start the race. Yeah, I don't want anything like that again, where basically nobody trusts the tyres. So we don't yet know what the issues are. Pirelli have come out after the race and said, "Oh, well, we think it's something to do with debris, but we're not certain yet." I mean, they probably would say that, wouldn't they?
That's a great politically correct response at the moment.
Yeah,
that's
it's very diplomatic, isn't
keep
it?
the media down.
But yeah, it's not acceptable that they're out on these tyres. I think Verstappen's were 30-odd laps old.
Yeah.
And it's happening in the worst possible place as well.
I completely agree.
It's happening with them doing 200 plus miles an hour. Now, I kind of want to use this to lean in, to kind of combine 2 points here, actually, because these go quite well together. Because we also had safety cars as a result of these issues.
Yep. Which I disagree with.
And red flags as a result of these issues as well. Now, at first, I was watching Stroll's accident, and I'm thinking, well, maybe there's a delay in the stewards actually calling Bernd Mailander out and reporting it to the commentators, and then it being flashed up on screen. Like, maybe there's a delay that we don't see. We don't know exactly how all of this operates. Maybe it's like the radio messages, where they're obviously not happening as we're seeing them because they're like screened and edited and presented. But then Leclerc on the radio after the Verstappen crash was being told that they're still racing. And he said, "Oh, it's a joke. They should call out the safety car." And the delay for bringing out the delay for bringing out the safety car for Stroll's accident was too slow as well, I thought.
Yeah.
Because he's on the radio going, "Red flag it, get me out of here."
Yeah.
Because he knows
absolutely.
He's stuck at one of the fastest bits in the circuit.
Yep.
And somebody hits you there, you don't even want to think about what would happen. So I'm looking at it with all this debris all over the track going, that's an obvious safety car. And there's still a delay. So I'd love to know why. Just like when we had it before, I think it was Spain when we were talking about it, there's a car on the track.
Yeah.
I can't understand why they're not seeing that and going, obviously that's a safety car. There's a too big a delay. Now, you were saying that you disagree with the safety car. You think both incidents should have been red flagged.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, that's what I think. Just highlighting where Stroll came off. It was after the kink to the right hander, which is full throttle, and kicked off a lot of smoke because he locked out all his tires, tire puncture, hit the wall, lots of smoke, lots of debris over the road, and like you heard Lance Stroll on the radio, "Get me out of here, red flag this, I don't want to be here, get me out," which is a completely fair response. Like, he crashed out. It wouldn't have just been shy of like 180 miles an hour. That's an extraordinary amount of speed. But also, if cars are coming around that, they may be able to avoid Stroll, who is off the racing line and just in front of the pit entrance. But that doesn't mean they're going to avoid the front wing, the bits of debris all over the track, which could puncture a tyre or rip a tyre entirely into two straight away if they're going over it, and causing an equally catastrophic accident. As soon as that car hit that barrier, there was debris all over their road, stretching the width of the road on it is a kind of a blind right-hander, but they're coming round it at 100 plus miles an hour. They should have red flagged it straight away. It was completely unsafe. And the fact that, Max would have been going plus 200 miles per hour and was quite lucky in the way how he hit that tyre wall. He was fortunate that it looked like it took a lot of the energy out of the car. He carried that forward momentum, whereas Stroll went, a lot of the momentum was taken when he went into that wall and then he bounced back out. It's just not acceptable. And I completely agree with what you're saying. I'm sat there and I'm thinking, where's the yellow flag? Like, they're so quick to yellow flag someone going off the track into one of the runoff areas, And you think, oh, yellow flag in sector 1. Oh, green flag in sector 1. Okay, they're quite on it. They're quite on it this race because they're flowing up that yellow flag quite often when the car's going off into the escape road. But you've had a car completely stack it going down the main straight. The TV footage is showing it, so you know that the race directors can see what's going on. They've got cameras all over the place and on board, and it felt like 20 seconds before a yellow flag came out.
I think the yellows did come out. It was just the safety car that was too slow. I think the yellows did come out because it was showing yellow flag in sector 3.
But it should have been safety car.
I'm going like, yeah, yellow flag, but like safety car. Like look at what's happening.
Needs to be
safety car.
Double yellow safety car. Yeah, it should have been stopped straight away. I know red flags, can be used quite often, but this isn't a track where cars are off the racing line, out of danger, or they're on the track. They're on the track where people race, and there's debris all over the track. Safety car should have been called up to collect that whole, the whole lot, and then I personally think it should have been red flagged relatively quickly.
Yeah, I think Leclerc's radio message made it pretty clear that even the drivers think it's mad. So I don't quite understand. On the one hand, we heard these extra radio calls from the FIA, which are great. I'm glad that we're getting those, and they demonstrate quite a steadfast opinion towards safety and following the rules, which is great. But then you have stuff like this happening, and it's not that I don't think either of us are trying to sort of like have a go at the FIA. I mean, neither of us are important enough for it to matter that we do. But it's more it's more just that I'd love to know what causes that delay, because there's got to be a good reason for it, surely. Because even when we are saying it and the drivers are saying it, like, what is causing that delay? It just should be immediate. Either there is no delay, and what we're seeing is as a result of the way that it's broadcast and is just based on our ignorance of the way that it works, or there is some reason why they are there going, are you sure it's a safety car? Like, I would love to know what the reason is, basically.